In this video, I'm going to go over why I'm very excited for Battle Aces after participating in the closed beta. I've been a huge fan of RTS games since I was a kid. I started with Warcraft 2, played a lot of Brood War, Warcraft 3, StarCraft 2, and Age of Empires. I recently returned to StarCraft Remastered leading up to the closed beta, and I finally took advantage of the ability to remap hotkeys in the remastered version, which was really great. I feel like Brood War is kind of the chess of RTS games. It's a game that'll just never die no matter how many new RTS games come out. It's always a good game to return to and seems like it'll always have active players. The only problem with Brood War is the extremely steep learning curve and the time needed to learn the game, which becomes especially harder to find time for the older I get. For me, my favorite part of the game is the actual battles that take place. When you finally get to a big Tank Vulture versus Eldritch Group battle, it's amazing. But there's so much to manage before even getting to that point that it can feel like a chore. I might make some mistakes during that crucial battle that I want to correct for in the next game, but with each game possibly lasting 20 plus minutes, it's tough to get through. I'm also a huge fan of fighting games, especially Smash Bros. Melee. I'm very bad at traditional fighters, but I have a huge appreciation for the genre as a whole. What makes fighting games great is the short matches and the ability to have a fresh start in a new game after just a few minutes. You can quickly make adjustments between matches and come in with an entirely different strategy. By contrast, RTS can be so incredibly punishing because a simple mistake you make very early in the game might spell your doom in a long 20 plus minute game. Before Battle Aces was announced, I had actually dreamt up ideas for an RTS game that might play more like a fighting game, with very quick matches. The ideas I had generally skipped any base building and jumped right into army versus army micro battles. But stuff like that actually already existed in the form of custom maps in games like Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 2. But what Battle Aces came up with is really amazing. They accomplished what I was looking for by focusing on the actual battles in micro, but they didn't completely let go of the macro game either. They kept just the right parts of macro and let go of every piece of it that felt like a chore. You still have to make smart decisions about when to expand and when to tech, and you still get that traditional RTS feeling of executing a two-base timing attack against a player taking their third, or defending your third on the receiving end of a timing attack. Battle Aces trims all the fat from traditional RTS and gives players exactly what they want: battles, and in very quick matches. Matches are limited to a maximum of 10 minutes and often end well before that. It's very easy to get in a lot of games in a short period of time. For me, I personally get the same level of enjoyment from each 5-minute game of Battle Aces that I would in a 25-minute game of Brood War. Within that short 5-minute game, there's an entire narrative packed in there of what units we teched for, what counters what, when we took expansions, how well we controlled our armies, when it was critical to be on the offensive or the defense, etc. It's simply highly time efficient fun for an RTS fan. I feel like this is a huge next step in the evolution of the genre. I'm sure there's still a place for traditional RTS games with more involved macro, but I'm personally a huge fan of the style Battle Aces is bringing forward. It might even be cool if this inspires an entire subgenre of RTS with very short matches like this. The last thing I wanted to mention was the deck building aspect of Battle Aces. Deck building means that we aren't just limited to 2 or 3 factions. The possibilities of decks and playstyles are practically unlimited. This will go a long way in keeping things fresh and exciting as you have to learn countless matchups and adjust your strategy from game to game. Anyway, I just wanted to share my thoughts on why I'm excited for Battle Aces. If you're interested in checking it out, you can sign up for future betas on their website, and you can wishlist it on Steam for when it comes out. I highly recommend checking this game out, especially if you're an RTS fan.